in 2022, I made some candied jalapenos, and with the extra juice, the broth from those peppers, I put a couple of, I don't know how many's in here, maybe two or three chicken breasts, 3 or 4, I'm not sure how many's in there, but anyway, I put it as a marinade in this bag, threw it in the freezer, and today is the day. I'm putting it in the crock pot. We're gonna see how this goes. I hope it won't be too spicy. Those peppers were pretty spicy, but they're also kind of sweet too. So I'm thinking this might be good. Maybe I'll add in some cream cheese later after I shred it up. I don't know. We're gonna see. All right, let me catch you up on what I've done today. So the chicken cooked all day with the candied jalapeno marinade. I shredded it up. I added some Kinder's roasted chicken seasoning and a little bit of smoked paprika, some cayenne pepper, salt, and regular pepper. Then I cooked some spaghetti noodles and I added it all together. I put in 1 block of cream cheese and maybe a half a cup of sour cream. This, my friends, is delicious. This is so good, and I am like wondering if I have, oh, I think I do have more of that candied jalapeno sauce, the brine. Oh my gosh. It is a little bit sweet. It's spicy, but not too spicy. It's just got a really nice sweet heat to it. It's really, really good. At the beginning of this year's Pantry Challenge, I wrote out a little list of some kitchen projects that I was going to try to get done, if at all possible. On the list was to can cranberry juice, as well as beef bone broth. Doing both of these kitchen projects would free up space in our freezer because that's where I was keeping both the beef bones that we had and the cranberries that I bought over the holiday season. And the way that I make my cranberry juice is I simply put cranberries and water, and then I water bath can. Now, I didn't put the instructions specifically on how to do this because I've only been canning for a couple of years and I'm not confident enough to tell anyone else how they need to be canning. I'm still learning myself, but this way works for me. And we really enjoy having cranberry juice in the house. Now, what I like the most about it is that it doesn't have any sweetener and it's just literally only cranberry juice. It's so good. So anyway, this day was so busy. I was in the kitchen all day canning and cooking, and it was so great, but man, it was a lot of work. And I have to say, being able to do kitchen projects like this feels so good. I don't know if any of you can, but I love canning. I've really enjoyed learning it, and it just makes me feel so fulfilled that I'm learning this skill. I just think it's so valuable, and I've enjoyed it so much. Dinner tonight is a Mozart mozzarella, and this is a recipe that I got from Facebook Dinner Club. It's really easy, and it's one of Serena's favorites. So I've got 2 pounds of ground beef thawing in the sink. And so I'm gonna be using the ground beef. We're gonna use 1 can of tomato sauce. And I've got out some spices I'll probably season the meat with as well. Essentially, we're going to be making a meat sauce. We're gonna layer it in the bottom of a 9x13. Then we're gonna put these crescent rolls together, bake them on top with some cheese on top as well. And Robbie doesn't like crescent rolls. He prefers this dish served with pasta. So I'm making this type of pasta. It's from Trader Joe's. It's been in my pantry. I've never made this kind before. I'm hoping he'll like it. And then we'll serve with a side of green beans. I will include a screenshot of this recipe in the video. If you're enjoying this video so far, I would really, truly appreciate it if you would give this video a thumbs up. It helps my channel so much, and any support is good. So whether you give a thumbs up or comment, if you share any of the videos that I post, it's so helpful to my channel. It helps me know what you like. It helps YouTube know that people are enjoying the content. And, you know, it's just good for the algorithm and helps channels, you know, grow and and be successful. So anyway, please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you in advance. Now here on these crescent rolls, what I've done here is I've spread sour cream, and then I'm going to season with basil and Italian seasoning. Today on this video, I also did a little bit of Parmesan cheese from the shaker bottle. You can put anything you want inside these crescent rolls. Let me think. I tried a recipe that was the copycat Carrabba's dipping oil, and the seasoning blend that goes with that is so spectacular. I made it one time and put it in this filling. It was amazing, hands down. I think about it every time I make this recipe. I think that it should be the go-to seasoning filling for these crescent rolls. It's good on everything, actually. So anyway, you're going to make the filling, roll the crescents up like you normally would, and then we're going to place them on top of the meat sauce. This recipe is so easy and so tasty. I've got the water heating up to boil so I can cook my noodles. Here I've got the browned ground beef. This is a little over 2 pounds, and then I chopped 1 onion to put inside. Now the recipe calls for 1 can of tomato sauce. I'm gonna see about it. Usually I like to put 2 cans of sauce, so we'll see. I'm one to not always follow the recipe exactly. I'm not afraid to change it up a little bit, you know? So we're gonna give this a quick stir. Nope, I'm gonna do 2. I'm gonna go ahead and add another can. So this is just 1 more can of tomato sauce. And I did add some seasoning. I just kind of shook in some Italian seasoning, some basil, and some garlic powder. A little bit of salt as well. That is much better. I've got the meat sauce in the bottom of this 9x13. From here, I'm going to add the cheese. So I'm just going to use what's left of this mozzarella cheese bag. Looks like it's going to be just right. I'm also going to add a little bit of shredded cheddar jack cheese. We're going to add the crescent rolls right on top. Scoop these down a little bit. All right, then we're going to pop this into the oven at 350 for about 30 minutes. So the Mozart mozzarella just came out of the oven. It looks really good, and the pasta turned out pretty good too. So dinner is ready.
Good.
What?
That looks so good.
It looks so good.
Where's the pasta? Oh, give me that pasta.
Tonight I am prepping mashed potatoes. They're actually make-ahead overnight mashed potatoes, and I'm cooking them tonight so they can stay in the fridge, and I'm going to use them for dinner tomorrow. This recipe calls for 5 pounds of baking potatoes, 1 stick of butter, a cup of sour cream, 8 ounces of cream cheese softened, and a teaspoon of salt. I have my friend Jean to thank for this recipe. It is hands down the best mashed potatoes I have ever had in my life. Y'all are gonna love these. These have been boiling for about 20 minutes, so I'm gonna drain them and then put them back in this pot to dry. These are actually pretty dry already, so I'm gonna go ahead and put them into the bowl of my KitchenAid mixer. So here I have the potatoes, the cream cheese, a stick of butter, and y'all, I do not have 1 cup of sour cream. I had probably like a tablespoon left in my container. So this is not gonna turn out exactly like it has before. I'm gonna add some milk instead. So it's gonna be slightly different, but I'm telling you, if you follow the directions and the recipe, you'll be so pleased. So, you know, if it wasn't for the pantry challenge, I would have all the ingredients, but it is what it is, and we're gonna go with it. It's gonna be fine. So I did add a splash of milk, only because I just didn't have the sour cream, but these look creamy dreamy. All right, so here's what we're gonna do next. From here, I am going to let this cool, not completely, but most of the way on the countertop, and then I'm going to put a cover on it, some plastic wrap or something, and I'll pop this in the fridge for overnight. All right, these potatoes have been in the fridge for about a day and a half, and I'm about to take them and put them into this slow cooker. And we're gonna cook it on low for about 3 hours. All right, then we're just gonna take a paper towel and place it right here to absorb any extra liquid, and I'm just gonna place the lid on, and it's good to go. So this is going to cook on low for 3 to 4 hours. I placed the paper towel between the lid and the crock pot, and that's just gonna absorb any extra water. These are gonna turn out so great, and I'm excited for dinner. I can't wait to show you what we're gonna make. I decided on dinner, I'm going to make kind of a shepherd's pie type of a dish. I'm not gonna be following a recipe, but I will tell you how I am making this. So get out your pen and paper, old school style, and write it down if you like. So because we're cooking from the pantry, I'm gonna be using these canned roast beef. I've got 2 of these, and they are 12 ounces each. I'm gonna season with the creamy steakhouse from Kinder's. I'm gonna be using some Worcestershire sauce. I'm gonna dice up an onion. We're gonna use some of these frozen mixed vegetables. They've been in my freezer. I'm gonna use a little bit of home canned beef broth and a little bit of flour to make a roux. So these are all gonna be in the filling. We're gonna top it with the mashed potatoes, and I'm gonna do it all in this skillet and pop it in the oven when we're done. Also, Serena is going to be making these Southern City Flavors Southern Biscuits. My good friend Katie gifted me this for Christmas, along with some other oils and just fun little kitchen accoutrement. And anyway, Serena's gonna make these. I hope they're gonna turn out really well. She knows how to make my scratch biscuits, but we love a good mix. So we're excited to try these too. Don't you love a recipe that you can essentially make start to finish in a cast iron skillet? I do. I just think there's something about it that, I don't know. I didn't grow up with like cast iron in the house. My parents didn't really use it to cook with, but I have recently started cooking with it and I enjoy it so much. All right, to make this filling, I started out with a little bit of olive oil and then added the onions and cooked them just a little bit until they were soft and translucent. Added a little bit of salt, seasoned with some thyme. And then I added these frozen vegetables just to get them warmed through. And then here I'm adding 2 tablespoons of flour. I just thought that this would be nice to thicken up the filling, and it did. It did a really nice job. So I cooked this for a few minutes by itself, with the vegetables, the flour, and then I add the broth and simmered it all together. To season the filling, I use Worcestershire sauce, Kinder's Creamy Steakhouse Blend. Oh my gosh, Kinder's. what even is Kinder's and what kind of magic do they put in their seasonings? I love everything that I've bought from them. I have truly loved. This canned roast beef is also really good, and I can't remember where we bought it from. Maybe Sam's Club, but I really don't remember. It's got a really nice flavor and it's tender. It's very much like stew meat, and I enjoy cooking with it. I don't cook with it very often. We do keep it in our food storage just as like a shelf stable protein. It's quick and easy and good to have on hand. But every time I've cooked with it, I've been surprised how much I like it because, sometimes canned meat can have a little bit of a weird texture, but this doesn't. So far, my experience with it has been really good. Anyway, all these flavors came together so nicely, and this meal was so comforting. Our whole family liked it. Our whole family loved it. Oh, yes, I forgot. I did add 3 cans of the roast beef instead of the 2. I think that I just wasn't remembering how large this skillet was, and I thought another one would be good, and it was. It was perfect. So anyway, the whole family loved this dinner. It made for excellent leftovers, and this is definitely something that I am going to make note of in my recipe binder because it was real good. Also, those mashed potatoes, I'm not even kidding when I say they are the creamiest, dreamiest, hands down the best mashed potatoes. Yum. I think I'm going to do a separate video coming up soon about them because that way I can talk more detail and have all the right ingredients, and it'll be a video on its own. But anyway, I popped this in the oven, got the cheese nice and melty. It was so good. The biscuits also turned out really, really well. I would absolutely buy these again. They were really tasty. Dinner tonight is Stovetop Meatloaf. This is such a simple recipe. It's great for pantry cooking if you have stovetop or some type of stuffing mix in your pantry. I'm doubling this recipe, so over here I've got my ground beef, and I'm going to be using this brioche stuffing mix. It's the garlic and rosemary flavor. I picked these up at Aldi, and they are really good. We've got our eggs. I'm going to add an onion, and I need to measure out some water. All that's going to go into the ground beef and make a mixture. We're going to top it with this barbecue sauce. Did you figure it out? Mm-hmm.
Is it okay to watch?
Of course.
All right.
When I was meal planning for the week and I knew I wanted to make the make-ahead mashed potatoes, I knew that one dinner would have to be meatloaf because meatloaf and mashed potatoes, they just go together. They're like BFFs. Anyway, it's also one of our family's favorites. Actually, Serena we were talking one day and I asked her, if you could have one last meal, if you knew it was going to be your last day on earth and you had to pick one last meal, what would it be? And she said meatloaf. So it's one of her favorite dishes, and I enjoy making it because it's easy and filling and everybody likes it. And it's not that expensive to make. It's pretty good on the budget, and we usually have on hand the things that we need to make it. I love topping our meatloaf with barbecue sauce, and I'd never used this kind before. We usually have Sweet Baby Ray's. This sauce was so good. Dare I say it might be my new favorite barbecue sauce. Although my ultimate favorite is Carolina Gold, but this one was really tasty. So we got to make sure we have that. Went to buy a new one because we ran out. Well, these look fantastic. They smell really good. And we are so hungry and ready for dinner. This was a winter dinner. Everybody loved it. Clean plates all around. The mashed potatoes and meatloaf, of course, paired perfectly. And the green beans and corn, that's another favorite combination of the kids. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, remember to please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you join our YouTube family. All right, thank you for adding a dash of gratitude to your day, and I'll see you on the next one.